At this time, I'm going to find Uncle Lawrence. As is our custom, we are going to ask our kupuna to bless our gathering and remind us of our responsibility to take care of each other. Uncle?
Thank you. Oh Lord, we thank you for this evening. And we thank you for gathering all of us here with safety and health. We ask, Almighty God, that you continue to bless us all, that you bless us with the wisdom and knowledge that we need to move forward. And we thank you for blessing our county officials and leaders and all of the help that we have had with all the, I having a hard time because I'm very thankful, and it's hard to think when you're in that kind of situation, but Almighty God, you know what I'm talking about, and we ask that you touch each and every one here tonight, that we all will be in one mind, one body, and that we will all speak the same language, and that you bless us all, Almighty God. Without you, we will not have anything. You have given us what we needed, and you have guided us and continue to guide us, that we may be able to recover and restore our lives. Lord, we pray that after the meeting, you bless us and take care of this place and cleanse it of any negative and any kind of traumatic or problematic thoughts, that it be safe for the students and the faculty, and you keep it in safe and healthy. Lord, we ask thee to bless us and give us all the strength and the knowledge and wisdom. Lord, you know what I mean, so, I get hard time when I feeling like this, but I only can thank you for all the blessings that you have blessed us with, and let us not forget that He is our staff and our shepherd, and that He will guide us. All you gotta do is believe. I thank the Almighty God, but I may share one thing right now that, I was kind of holding back, but everybody, with the Lord's help, I have a home that was built by God and by the help of the Samaritans and their donors. Lord, we ask for this, I get hard time for talk already, but He knows what I'm talking about. And, it's really hard when you're thankful and you can see what can be with the faith and the love that, we all have. Let us always be thankful for what He has blessed us with, and be strong and hope that and pray that He will give us what we need. Sometimes we ask for what we want, but then again, it's not what we need. So what we need is our lives back. We need to be alive again. And He has proven it through the little miracles that He has given us. Like I said, I'm so thankful for the Samaritans and the donors, and I'm so thankful for God's helping hand to make this possible, because everything that we have in the home, the vendors were very, very, I don't know how to say it, but they gave us either cheap or they gave us away to get it, to get things. I can really say that I'm proud of the home that was built, and that it's nice. I mean, it's beauty from the ash is all I can say. And that, like earlier on, I said, beauty will rise from the ash, and it became true. It is so true that, I pray that each and every one of us here who has gone through it will have that blessings also. With this, I thank the Almighty God, and I thank each and every one here tonight for being part of the process. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh, mahalo, Uncle Lawrence, for giving us a reminder of blessings. Please, to help us get through some difficult times, whichever place you are, and all of us are. We are going to go ahead and begin our meeting. I have a few announcements, but I'm going to go through this part first. In case you never know, it's July 2nd. Please take care of yourselves. As we approach the second anniversary, it is so important to be among people that will give you comfort and support, but it is even more important that you are taking care of you. So we offer again all of the resources. You can use a QR code. The slides tonight are always on our Maui Recovers website. So please use the resources that we like to come to you and remind you each time before we start normal business. If you're into movies, oh, shucks, Stephanie, I lost the flyer. There's a flyer on that table, Jackie waving the flyer. It's going to be July 16th, Sonic 3. There's a whole bunch of movies happening. These movies are free. Please just go and enjoy. It is put together by our team at the Department of Parks and Recreation. So please take advantage of them. I want to talk a little bit about Kuhinia Maui before we move through tonight. I touched on it a little bit. We will be returning with Kuhinia on August 8th, one day of our events, many days of community-driven events. So last year, because we wanted to give everyone the chance to come together and kind of, get through that first year, we offered 9 events in 4 days between here and Upcountry Maui, so that you can choose anything you wanted to go through that you would have felt comfortable being at. So it was good to see everybody at every single gathering. So this year, we're doing one day on August 8th. You can join us at 9 o'clock in the morning for a paddle out, because apparently that was super, really big. So we'll be on the ocean the morning of August 8th if you want to join us. More details on all of this will be on kuhiniamaui.org. We ask that you follow. Last year was terrific. Everybody who did paddle out cooperated. It was a heck of an operation to try to get all the cars, surfboards, the paddle boards. So just know that it'll be the same type of operation. At noon, we invite everyone to join us on the front lawn of Kalano Maui, which is the front lawn of the county building in Wailuku. We're gonna really acknowledge that August 8th is also a day of healing. A time when all of our community, whether it was just for Upcountry Maui, here, and everyone that came together that helped us through so many times. So that gathering will be in Wailuku. In the evening at 5:30, in the amphitheater this time, not inside the gym because there's some construction going on. You can join us at 5:30. We're going to pay reverence and tribute to those we lost 2 years ago. But it's also a time that we can come together and a chance to heal together. So come, if you want to be together, we will be there, and we will welcome everyone with aloha. Our team Aloha, Kuhinia's team Aloha will be in force again. So if you want to join us and volunteer, follow kuhiniamaui.org and sign up. If you show up with last year's shirt, everybody will know you were last year's team Aloha. I want to tell you this year's shirts will look a little different. But we welcome all kokua, so just sign up. We probably won't need the couple hundred volunteers that we ran last year with this one. And different parts of our community are going to be announcing their events, and we'll share as we get them. I do know the Obon will happen again. I don't have details of that until they start. And different churches are organizing as well. Tonight, before I go over the agenda, I do want to make a few other announcements. There's going to be night work by the State Department of Transportation starting very soon out by the Wailuku side of Olowalu. So that's going to be erosion road work by the state DOT, but the good news is it's only at night. Okay, so I know a lot of folks were concerned about the occurrence of a lot of road work, but that's going to be at night. So it shouldn't interfere with the transportation, the transfer work going on at Olowalu to our permanent debris site. FEMA is wrapping up July 3rd, as a reminder, is their final day at the gateway for being in person at the gateway. So they have done a tremendous job just being available at the gateway, at CNHA's Kako'o Center. They'll continue to come to the Lahaina meetings here, and they're here again tonight at the help table. If you are direct housing participant, please continue to work with your recertification advisor and then call the FEMA helpline if you need additional help. And of course, they're here this evening, as they will be at every Lahaina community meeting. And then finally, you will see towards the ending part of this month some activity going on. We call it mile marker 13.5. Right, it's by Ukumehame in that area. We are going to remove abandoned vehicles. I know a lot of you have said, what about that? Okay, you can applaud. Environmental management, right there, his team. We are also going to be having our emergency management agency. They have taken charge of making sure that brush is taken down so that it is not a wildfire risk, because it is a lot of acreage that the county owns in that area. So you're going to see some activity there, but that's what's going on. Okay, so just know that. All right. Tonight, you're going to hear how's it going, moving the debris from Olowalu to Central. We're going to bring up our favorite administrator, although he's the only administrator of the Office of Recovery, John Smith, who's going to give an update on the CDBG DR, as well as how's it going on the Lahaina Town rebuild. You'll hear from our team of infrastructure departments, Public Works, Department of Water Supply, as well as environmental management on what's coming up on the infrastructure side of the rebuild. And then we thought now, because all of you came, so many participated in the commercial district design workshops last week, that we invited as a next step a chance for you to meet the leadership of the Department of OEV Resources. Kumo and his team are here. They're going to talk a little bit about what is this royal complex, so that you can begin to know a little bit about it. All right, so next month, we always do first Wednesday of the month, but next month we'll be on the second Wednesday, only because we want to keep that week of remembrance just that. Let's just, enjoy that week any way we can, take time that week any way we can, and not have to come to a meeting. So we moved it back to August 13. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Mayor Bisson.
Aloha, Lahaina, Ohana. First, just want to acknowledge those members of my advisory team who I see here today. I saw Kaliko and Lori and Kim. I'm sure Earl is on his way, or may be working his way here. So thank you folks for being here for your community. They continue to meet with me every Mondays. And again, I've been volunteering for almost 2 years now, and I just want to say thank you to them. And they've brought a lot of your guys' concerns to me and the rest of my team. I want to thank all our partners who are here today to again help answer questions. If it doesn't get answered during the Q&A session, perhaps later you folks can come up. I forgot to acknowledge thank you to Uncle Lawrence for not only that special prayer, but quite conversational prayer that you gave. We know you on first name basis with the Lord because you guys talk story. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that special brand of prayer for all of us Now we all know how we can pray, right? We can pray however we want to pray. So, I want to say thank you to Uncle. He's always here. He's one of the stalwarts, people we can count on to be at this meeting and to open our meeting with that. So, I don't have a whole lot more because everything I want to say you're going to be hearing from some of the folks that are going to come up. So what I'd like to do is introduce your council member from West Maui, Tamar Paulton.
Aloha mai kākou. I just wanted to share with you folks this morning, Member Sinensi and myself went to the funeral of Auntie Patty Nishiyama before the committee meeting. We gave a condolence certificate from the council. Auntie Patty was part of Nakupuna o Maui for many years, advocating on behalf of Hawaiian children and West Maui in general. So just wanted to share, we pay our condolences to her family. On the council side of things, I just came from the Housing and Land Use Committee meeting. We finished 5 days of testimony on Bill 9 and thousands of pieces of written testimony on top of 5 days of oral testimony. And today, we spent pretty much the whole entire day in executive session hearing from the lawyers and how they're prepared to defend the county against all the threats and promises of lawsuits. And I think that's all I can say about that because I don't want to divulge anything that happened in executive session. I don't want to give away any of the county strategies and like that. So I'm just going to hamal on that because, I'm not supposed to say anything that happened in executive session. So last Friday was the last council meeting of the fiscal year. It lasted into Saturday morning, into Monday. The council ended up passing Wailea 670 on first reading. Kind of contentious. One of the main sticking points was to allow for the affordable housing requirement, which was at 700 when it originally passed, was down to 450 with a condition, and it went further down to 288 of workforce units. I did not vote in support of lessening the workforce, and so I ultimately couldn't support the bill. We're anticipating having second and final reading in the South Maui district, likely on July 25th, but as you know, for the council, nothing is guaranteed until the meeting is posted on mauicounty.us, and that'll be 7 days in advance. So July 25th is the anticipated date for that, and we'll be having that meeting in South Maui. So besides Bill 9 and the Wailea 670, the next big thing, and it's kind of funny because this is West Maui, but the next big thing in my committee is the South Maui Community Plan. And we anticipate that will take a few weeks. Tomorrow, I gave up my committee slot today so that we could discuss Bill 9 all day today. And so tomorrow we're just gonna be going over the logistics and asking permission of if people will give up their meeting slots to power through the South Maui Community Plan in like 2 to 3 weeks. Similar process as what we did for the West Maui Community Plan back in, I think, 2021. And so those are the big things. In the middle of July, a number of us council members will be going to the National Association of Counties in Philadelphia. It's the annual conference. And I didn't really want to go to Philadelphia, but the County of Maui is hosting the Western Interstate Region in 2026. And part of our commitment is to bring those folks to Maui. They'd like to learn from our experiences in the fire and other things. So because I'm the Hawaii State Association of Counties representative for the County of Maui, I need to be in Philadelphia for about a week. So middle of July, I'll be out of the state. So that's pretty much it for the legislative update. I'll be around when we get to questions and answers if anybody has any specific questions or questions about the legislative side of things. Thank you.
Colonel Bickerstaff?
Aloha. Thank you all for being here tonight. I've been really curious since the last meeting last month. Did anyone make it out to the Lion King movie? Oh, what a loss. Don't worry, Sonic 3 is also pretty good. It's a great chance to get there with the community as well. And speaking of community, on behalf of all the USA's team, we want to thank you all, the community, for all your support over the past 2 weeks. We started the operations up just over 2 weeks ago. We're just around 10% complete, and it's largely thanks to your support, your patience, and all the people up here have been helping us plan this for the past 6 months. So thank you all very much. I know some of you are probably breaking out your phones, your calculators, or pulling the fingers out and trying to do some addition. You're like, okay, they have 18 weeks left and they're done. It's not quite that clean. We've had a really good run with good weather, good support, good long days. Sun's going to be setting shorter periods of the day, not as much time on the roads. So it is not going to be this smooth the entire way. So please don't think this is a linear path to the end. We will have less productive weeks, but your continued support is very much appreciated. And speaking of appreciation, if you know people that are out there doing the driving in the trucks, making the hauls every day, or the people there working for Alpha there at either site, give them a big mahalo. Tell them thank you for being patient, for being safe, caring about everyone on the roads. They're doing a phenomenal job. And those are people in your community doing that great work. And they're not forgetting how important this is and how little they are trying to disturb you. So please express your appreciation, keep them motivated, and know that we're genuinely thankful for all the support you've given us along the way. So you all have a great night.
Thanks, Colonel. Aloha, everyone. John Smith. I know most of you now. But if I don't know you, come up and say hi to me afterwards. I'd like to get to know you. We have an awesome resource crew here tonight. We have Public Works, Water Supply, our favorite Department of Environmental Management Director. Anna is here from Planning. We have if you're on the OOR or CDBG team, just raise your hand. They're shy. So we have lots of resources here, so I'm going to be fast so that you can get to talk to them after this presentation, or after all of these presentations. So real quick, here's where we are in the permitting process, making significant strides because of these folks and how fast they're processing things. I was just talking to Four Leaf, and that number 30 is actually 31 because he just gave someone a certificate of occupancy today. So that's really, really cool. They're averaging, I'm sorry, did I mess you up? It's about 2 a week now, sometimes 3 a week that's closing out the process. So if you're kind of tracking that, that's phenomenal. Visually, I think you guys can see this. I hope you can see that, but really what you're looking at is how the permit and the building process is happening over time. So the yellow and the green, the yellow is the application, then you get issued, and then the blue, and over time it's going to get bluer and bluer as we go. So super cool graphic, thanks to Tim, who's on our team. Wave your hand, Tim. Yeah. So the big news for us, and we did talk about it last week, is we now have the CDBG DR funds 100%. So we've all been waiting on a finalized signed grant agreement. We have it, it's fully executed. That is worth applauding for too, if you want to applaud. Out of 47 grantees across the country, out of the 12 billion, the county received 1.6. It was the largest, and I'm happy to say we're moving the fastest out of those grantees. Can I say that, consultant? Yeah. So it doesn't feel like we're moving fast, but we are actually, in federal government terms, we're moving at blazing speed. So we and here's the timeline, starting back in December of 2024, fast forward all the way to August 11th, 2025 is when we're going to start taking applications. We've talked about that already, so it's very exciting. We have pamphlets for all of these, so I'm not going to read everything tonight. So you can get the pamphlets right over here with Stephanie after we all talk. And if you're looking for detailed information, we have that today. If somebody wants to wave those around. The 3 programs we're kicking off first is the single-family reconstruction program. Then we're going to be working on the homeowner reimbursement program. So that was something that was asked for when we were developing the action plan, because we know some people were able to actually build, and then this way, once they're done building, there's a chance, if you're eligible, that we could help reimburse some of that cost. So that's a really cool program that we're developing. That's something that hasn't been done before in HUD, so we're pushing them for that. And then the other one is, we really want to help our families become homeowners, not just renters. So that's what this program's all about. So if you're interested in becoming a homeowner, there's a program there. Come and see. August 11th is when you'll be able to come in and actually sit down and start talking details with us. So how do you get ready? We're going to have informational workshops. You guys can read this stuff. We'll post these online. We again have forms for this on the tables. Stay tuned. The informational sessions are going to happen on July 30th. So July 30th, we're going to do 3 different sessions, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at the Civic Center. It depends on which program you're interested, so we can break out into smaller groups. So there's 3 sessions on that day. There's online webinars for those 3 sessions that we're going to produce as well. So a lot of information is coming leading up to that August 11th application timeline so that everybody knows the deal before we even start. Right, patients? Yeah. Okay, that's my spiel for recovery. Now we have our Director of Public Works first, and then he'll hand the mic over to Shane and then Chemo. All right, guys, you're up.
Thank you. Is this the spot? Okay. Oh. Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for being out here today. I'm Jordan Molina. I'm your director with the Department of Public Works. I'm here this evening to give you folks a few updates on some of the projects that our department has active and planned for Lahaina. So real quick, I'm going to go through what's happening in the near term, our midterm, and our long-term projects that we're working through. So near term, how I'm going to define that is projects that are either in construction or anticipated to be in construction in 1 to 2 years. So the biggest one we got right now that just started is our Front Street seawall repairs. So this is the area between Dickinson and Lahaina Luna, and in the segment from Papalawa to Baker. So that one just started, the first phase down by the Dickinson Street end. We're also going to be starting our Papalawa traffic signal replacement. Both of these projects actually were ready to go prior to the fire. And so now that the dust has settled, we are rolling with getting those projects going. One we're hoping to get done in the next couple months is this Aki Street connector. That was one of the evacuation projects that was identified. There's a small stretch of Aki Street that was not part of the public roadway system. We did successfully get that land acquired from the property owner, who was very gracious in cooperating with us, and so we're working to get that last segment tied in to complete that corridor. The other one we're working through is that Kahua Street connector, again, to tie in that outlet from the end of Kahua on the north end out towards Keawe Street. Various wildfire repairs, at least for public works side, with our sidewalks, our traffic signs and markings, and our pavement. Still fighting with FEMA. to get that going. And then we have various paving projects that, again, were scheduled before the fire, and now we're going to be getting ready to get those kicked off. So moving into our midterm, so again, these are either they're currently being designed and anticipate to be in construction in a 2 to 5 year window. Again, Lahaina Luna Road pavement rehab, so this takes us all the way from Honopilani Highway up to the school here. This again is another project we had planned before the fire, looking at restoring the pavement and also completing the sidewalk work to connect that whole corridor. In addition, we're also coordinating with HECO to work on undergrounding power lines on Lahaina Luna Road with both these projects. Another one we had going, and we are actually expanding it to take advantage of the opportunity, is drain line replacements throughout Lahaina. We had these phased out over many years, but given the situation now, we're going to kind of seize the opportunity to get it all done one time. So that'll be a bigger project coming through to get all our old drain lines restored and rehabilitated. Next one, Keawe Street improvements. So this is one we received federal funding grant for. This is looking at improving access in and out of the commercial areas on Keawe Street at Lahaina Gateway. All you guys are more than familiar with our challenges on Keawe Street now, especially being that it's the only commercial area supporting the Lahaina. That one we got funding for that construction, and so that one's in design right now. The West Maui Greenway project, we also received federal funding for, similar timeline to get that implemented, which is tentatively planned to take us from Lahaina Civic Center down to the Aquatic Center. And then lastly, working on additional egress connectors that were identified in some of the neighborhoods, just to provide that additional outlet out of the neighborhoods in some of the recommendations we got from the fire department. So we have some connector on Kahili Place, Kanakea Loop, and of course the Wahikuli roads going out to the top, connecting to the Cane Hall Road. Lastly, we have our long-term projects. So these are projects that are currently being planned and construction anticipated in a 5 to 10 year time frame. So our big one, Lahaina Watershed Project, this one's been going on for a long time. This is looking to mitigate flooding that occurs on the south end of Lahaina town, funded with the support from the NRCS. Then we have our Kuhua Street extension, looking to connect Keawe Street, currently to the Dickinson Street and potentially further south in future phases. Tied to that, of course, is Dickinson Street, bringing it up from the highway and providing another connection out to the bypass. The Papalawa extension, again, bringing that road up Mauka from the highway to connect to Kuhua and Aki Street to provide another outlet for that neighborhood to get to the major roadways. We also have our West Maui Greenway plan for future phases that take us beyond Lahaina town, both north and south. And then lastly, Front Street pavement rehab, which will be coming down the road. I think we have a graphic here. So this is some of those near-term and long-term projects that we got planned. Mahalo to Officer Recovery for the graphic support. And so yeah, we'll be here this evening. Appreciate you guys' time. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Oh yeah.
As you can see, us county infrastructure groups have a lot of projects going on. I have a long list. Most of these are wastewater projects. Some are R1 expansion projects and some are wastewater collection projects. I have a lot, so I'm just going to go through the list. I have a graphic up here and I'll try to correspond the projects to the colors. So in purple, light purple, it's our wastewater treatment facility in Honokowai. Connected with that project, we have our wastewater R1 process expansion project and our dewatering upgrades. So those two projects are at the treatment plant. We also have our West Maui recycled water R1 expansion project, which you can see in orange. going from the plant Mauka. And what that project does is it's a pump, a force main to a 300-foot elevated storage. So you can see in that kind of orange circle, you see 300 feet. That's a R1 storage tank that we are currently in design. Let's see, and I won't go into details. If you folks have more questions on each project, I have them on the sheet, but I won't go through all of them. The next project that you see in red, which is Mauka of that 300-foot elevation, is another pump station with a force main, and then you see another circle at the top. That's a 700-foot elevation storage for R1. So the plan is to take the R1 at a higher elevation, and as you folks know, we use gravity to feed everybody. And then the higher we go, the more people we can service with R1. So the circle on the top is the 300-foot elevation storage. Next project in darker blue is our West Maui R1 system expansion siphon and ditch distribution. So what this project is, you can see from that 700-foot elevation, the red dot, you see that blue line coming toward Lahaina. That's our longer term project to get the R1 from the 700-foot level toward the south to Lahaina town. The intended terminus of that is going to be in the Wahikuli area. There's a Wahikuli reservoir, existing reservoir. We currently do not own that reservoir, but our intention is to own it and then to follow the ditch system from the 700-foot reservoir to Wahikuli, bring it closer to Lahaina town. Next project is darker pink. This is the line you see here in the Kanapali area. That's our Kanapali R1 water distribution system. What that project is, it's servicing the hotels in the Kanapali area. So it goes down the parkway, and it will provide R1 to those resorts that are currently not on our system. That is currently in construction. The next one further north in the light blue is our Hono'opilani Highway lateral project. We have a R1 main already in the highway. This project will put laterals on there to connect the resorts that are a little bit Mauka along the highway. That is anticipated to start go to bid for construction in April of 2026. Next project in green is our Honokowai R1 water distribution system. That one is currently in the consultant selection process. So we're in the process of selecting a consultant to get the design going on that. That is right now our most northern R1 distribution system project. What that project will do is bring more of the resorts on the North Kanapali beach side on our R1 system. Next project that you can see in yellow further on the top of the page is a Napili Pump Station 1 project. This has nothing to do with R1. This is more of a sewer collection and pumping. This is in the design stage. It's about 54% complete, and we anticipate going to bid in October of this year for construction bids. And then further north or alongside of that in the dark purple, which is kind of running concurrently with that green stripe, it's kind of hard to see. That is our Napili force main replacement project. So whenever it's a force main, it's not R1, it's actually part of our sewer collection system. So that project is in about 60% complete in design. We anticipate to go to bid in October of this year. And that project will replace approximately 3,000 linear feet of 20-inch diameter sewer line. And it goes from our treatment facility to Kame'eui Place. Second slide. What you see in yellow toward the left side of the page is our Napili Force Main number 2 replacement. Again, this is nothing to do with R1, it's sewer collection. The design is about 24% complete. We anticipate to go into bid for construction April of next year. This project replaces about 980 linear feet of 16-inch diameter line that goes from, sorry, I think I had a typo here. It goes from Napili Pump Station to I think it's Akahele Street, though. The one that goes to the airport, Kapolei Airport. And the next project in dark pink is the Napili Pump Station 2 renovation. This is a pump station upgrade, again, not R1, but sewer collection. Design is about 75% complete. Anticipated bid opening October of this year. Next one in green, Napili Pump Station 3 renovation. Design is about 82% complete, and construction is about 5% complete. So it is under construction, and some of you may be asking, how can we be in construction if the design is not 100%? So we retain the consultants during the construction phase. If there's any questions, change order submittals, that type of thing. So we still don't finalize the design portion, but it is under construction. Next one is the Napili Pump Station 4 renovation in light blue. That is further up toward Kapalua. That one, the design is about 78% complete, and construction is at 61% complete. And a couple projects that I don't have on the slide. We have our Lahaina Force Main 3 replacement. So that project goes from Wahikuli Road to Malolo Place, and that is replacement of about 2,200 linear feet of sewer line, and that runs along Honoapiilani Highway. The bid opening for that is anticipated for October of 2027. We have our Lahaina Pump Station 5 and 6. Those two, I don't know if you remember, but those two were damaged during the fire. Pump Station 5 is by Malu'ulo'olele Park near 505. Pump Station 6 is the one by Shark Pit area. So we are currently selecting a consultant to do the design. Next project that is not shown is Lahaina Emergency Sewer Repairs along Honoapiilani Highway. That the design is about 50% complete. That is related to the recovery. There are some mains in the highway that were operational but were damaged. So we're going to take care of the repairs later. We just wanted to get people back on their properties. So that one is anticipated to go out to bid on October of this year. And those are located various places along the highway in Lahaina. And the last but not least is the Lahaina Emergency Sewer Repairs, the one I've been talking about from MOCON, giving all the updates from time to time. That is finally complete. That allowed everybody to get sewer service back on in Lahaina town. And what I do not have, and it's not really infrastructure related, but very important, we had a lot of questions. Our environmental program and sustainability, protection and sustainability, they have some projects going on in West Maui that may interest some of you. So a lot of you have been wondering about High Five in West Maui. So that team has been working with an individual, a local brother from Lahaina, to get a High Five redemption center at the place that it was before near the smokestack. So we are working on that. We have allocated fiscal year 26 funds for that. We're going to start off with High Five and then kind of morph into recycling drop-off. So right now, if you have recyclables, you need to drop it off at the Olowalu transfer station. We also received complaints that the used motor oil collection at the Olowalu transfer station was not adequate. It was always full. So we did add another barrel there to add more volume for people dropping off used motor oil at the Olowalu transfer station. Our abandoned vehicles, which Mahina kind of touched on, just some updates. On June 12th, we towed 12 vehicles near mile marker 13.5. I think we all saw that pile of cars there sitting for a long time. We finally got to it. On June 26th, our abandoned vehicles team did a site visit out in Ukumihame, which is 13.5 mile marker, and Cut Mountain. We have a new abandoned vehicle supervisor, so she wanted to take the team out there, just familiarize herself and the team with those hot spots. On June 27 and 28, our abandoned vehicles and metals team did a Honokahau Valley Community Workday event that was in conjunction with Malama Maui Nui. The event functioned both as a collection event and a community cleanup for hotspots out in Honokahau. That was June 27th to 28th. They are currently coordinating another site visit to Cut Mountain to start again tagging and towing of vehicles. We are coordinating with MPD on that. We had to cancel the first site visit for another event out on Amala. So we anticipate another site visit toward the end of this month. And tentative date, July 9th, is the next phase of mile marker 13 cleanup. We did phase 1 and 2 already. Phase 1 and 2 entailed removing a lot of the brush on the county parcel and the cars. And phase 3 will be a little bit more of that. So July 9th tentatively. And we had some cancellations, June 18 and 19, June 25th, 26. We were going to do that Okumihame Phase 3. What made us reschedule that was there is currently encampments, active encampments. So we are currently working with Department of Human Concerns to address that before we go and initiate the next phase of the cleanup. On June 21st, the West Side Go Green event where we collect the white goods, that had to be canceled because the site was unavailable. But Malama Maui Nui, who's our vendor, is working to find another site. We're hoping to work with that individual I mentioned about the High Five Redemption Center. So we're hoping to utilize that smokestack area for our next Go Green collection event. And that's all the updates I have for DEM. If you have any questions, and like I said, if you have detailed questions about specific projects, I have it on this paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Kim Molang here, Deputy Water Supply. So I have some updates on what we've been doing to the water system. First, we have reinstalled 650 service laterals and meters, which leaves us about 200 more to go till we complete with that. We also replaced the main water lines on Luakini, Ui, Hoapili, and Keao streets. So the majority of the requests we have been getting is from residential properties, with less than 10 for commercial properties. And we prioritize customers who have made a request by, if you have a permanent building permit, is number 1. Number 2, if you have for temporary structures. And number 3, if you need water for dust control or irrigation. And that's the order we follow when putting back meters. So the current estimated wait time for service lateral meter reinstallation following a request is about 1 to 2 weeks now. And if you haven't heard anything back within 4 weeks, please email water.supply@mauicounty.gov or call 808-270-7834, and we will make sure it gets taken care of. Okay, so this last slide shows our next big project. The name of the project is Lahaina Water System Improvements. Basically, this project will entail upgrading of 20,000 linear feet of water line throughout this whole area. And you can see some of it in the darker color below, but there's a lot of short sections in there too. So this project has been bid out, we've received the bids back, and we have awarded the job. We hope this project starts October 2025. We expect it to last about 2 years before we complete. And so that's kind of all the updates I have. Thank you.
Okay, now that you all know everything about everything, we'll have all these engineers here this evening. We're going to move into the Department of OEV Resources. Kumu, Kapuna'ai, I'm going to turn this clicker over to you.
Okay.
Aloha me kako. Well, iho no kapono'ai. It's a pleasure to be able to be here with all of you. I am humbled to be the servant for the Department of OEV Resources as its director. I have a team with me, my Deputy Director, Kai Robinson, as well as our AINA advocate, Kai Ea Medeiros. Today, I know today we're going to just briefly touch upon the subject matter that is on many minds of our local community that are here in Ma'ulu'ulu'olele or Lahaina, and that is in regards to the Royal Complex. We are fortunate enough to have been able to get our contractor to come on board, and they are currently onboarding. The group is Group 70 under the direction of their principal, Kavika McKeag. And so I wanted to first off give you that so that you know who the group is that will be engaging with our community here as well as our community all throughout Lahaina about this particular project. This is a quote from Kavika McKeag in regards to the piece. I never bring my glasses, so I'm going to go up real close here. Moku'ula is more than a historic site waiting to be restored. It is a living piko, a spiritual and cultural anchor for our people. This master plan is not simply a plan for restoration, but a pathway toward recovery and cultural resurgence. It is an opportunity to heal, reconnect, reaffirm ancestral ties. The essence of this work is not design alone, but the revitalization of a profound relationship between sky and sea, between water and land, between ancestors and descendants, and between loss and renewal. It's really the grounding foundational component for Moku'ula and Mokuhinia. The Royal Complex that we look at, and it doesn't only stretch out from Moku'ula and Mokuhinia, but it goes all the way out to the pohaku known as Hau'ola. And so when we're looking at the entire Royal Complex of our ali'i, we're looking at where the old library used to be, where the kalo of Kamehameha and his royal patches, all the way over to what we know as Kaui Keau'oli or Kamehameha Third School, Haliali'i o Kamehameha, the pre-contact heiau, Haliali'i and Lo'i Kalo of La'a, Haliali'i o Luna Lilo, the Pa Hale Kamani, the Hale Priula, Haliali'i o Kamehameha Iki or Kamehameha Third, and the Loko of Nalehu. This is all part of that royal complex that will be part of the discussion with Group 70 and developing the master plan for that. I am also reminded that Group 70 works for the County of Maui, and it doesn't work the other way around. And so they understand the complexity, and they understand the courage that it'll take to be able to engage with this community to make sure that we get this done correctly. They also know that we have really one great shot at taking care of Moku'ula and Mokuhinia and building out this royal complex. And so we're going to take our time going through this work and making sure that we do it with everyone's involvement. So this is the Royal Complex Master Plan overview. These are the areas in which they'll be engaging. So we'll have a hydrology and water policy, wildlife resilience and risk planning, biological and ecological assessment, community engagement and protocol, transportation, circulation, planning, cultural landscape architecture, topographical survey, cultural and archaeological study, soils and geotechnical studies, boundary mapping. Some of this subject matter I'm really good at, and some of the subject matter I know that they're really great at. And they're also bringing people on board that are also great in that subject matter to be a part of this team. Here are some of the plan purposes and deliverables. I'm not sure if you can read them all, but one of the main purposes is to honor history and integrity of place, cultural restoration, ecological revitalization, community healing, honor the integrity of place. Now, when we look at history of Lahaina, We look at history of our people there, and we look at the entire history of this beautiful, amazing space. Lahaina and its ali'i history is this long. Whaling history is this long. Yeah? And so we want to rewrite narratives of our history. Yeah? Not cover it up and make baseball parks anymore, but making sure that the places and the areas have a voice for themselves. And really, this is the reason why the Department of OEV exists. Some of the main deliverables of the project: assessment in existing conditions, community engagement plan, comparative research, regulatory strategy, phase implementation, cultural historical synthesis report, GIS mapping. We're going to be here for a while to answer any other questions that you might have about this particular plan as we move forward. Group 70 is just onboarding their entire team, and so we look forward to having them jump on board come mid-July and into August, and then we'll start moving forward. I will say this. I know that there are a lot of different plans being implemented right now in front of you. There's an R1 plan, there's a Lahaina plan, there's another plan, and another plan, and another plan. And we are part of all of that. I say this humbly because this Moku'ula Mokuhinia plan is way before me. I remember an amazing man, Akonia Kana, that laid these fundamental seeds in many of our own na'au about this amazing space. Prior to Akonia Kana, there was a man that is my Hanai dad, and that is John Keola Lake, whose ohana comes right from there. And getting an opportunity to learn all of the fundamental protocols and place of that area known as Moku'ula, Mokuhinia. Never understood why. Fast forward many years later, here I am at the head of the Department of OEV Resources, and this becomes a priority. And we will look at this priority as we continue to malama this as our keiki. So we malama this beautiful mu'o, this beautiful lala, and hopefully become a beautiful foundation, a kumu, that we all collectively in our community can be proud of, can continue to tell the mo'olelo, and continue to hapai and carry on the traditions moving forward. So, we wanted to just leave this QR code. I know you guys all akamai with your phone. Go ahead and snap them, and it's access to our strategic plan that will give you more insight onto the work that the Department of OEV Resources will do and moving forward. Thank you very much for allowing us to be here today. Aloha.
Mahalo kumu kapono'ai. They will be back. We just thought it was wonderful for you all to meet them, make themselves available, and start to share some of that information with you. We're going to go ahead and move into our Q&A. I want to remind everybody that these slides are on mauirecovers.org. So if it was small, kind, hard to read, or you couldn't see that good, please go to the website and you can go through it and look at it.
Raise your hand.
Okay. Do we have our microphones out? Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up for questions for a little bit before we allow time for everyone to visit the different kokua help tables that are with us this evening. So we have two mics running, Christelle and Morris. Again, please raise your hand and we'll do our best. Go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you.
Aloha.
You know, I've been coming to these meetings from the very beginning. And I was kind of taken by surprise when I saw in the paper this week that they were moving mobile homes on people's private property. and also for other people on whatever. But I'm surprised that I've never seen it up there on the requirements. It must be some secret handshake that was going around because nobody knows about it. I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people said, no, I've never heard about it. I've only heard about it from the paper this week. So why are some people getting it and some people not? I mean, would somebody please explain to me? I own a 10,000-foot lot here. I want to get my 93-year-old mother-in-law here and my daughter here and her husband. I mean, I just don't understand how we work. I'm sorry I'm not part of your in-group. I'm sorry I don't have the secret handshake. I'm sorry I'm not the secret squirrel.
Mahalo for the question. There is no secret, but I'm going to look to our team to who can best help with that answer. Okay, John.
So, yeah, there's no secrets. Those are projects that FEMA's leading, and they worked with those owners to be able to put some of the units on private sites.
Broadcast. Why wasn't it broadcast so that everybody has the fair opportunity to get it? I don't understand. Do you have to be a certain crowd? You can't be over 70, you can't be 93. Come on, give me a break. You know, you have and the have-nots.
Thank you.
Okay, you asked for the question that working with the owners was it. Every piece of movement we make, we know we can do better at trying to get information out. Okay. You have. That I know. So thank you. Mahalo for that. I can tell you we're going to talk about it internally on our side. I saw Christelle. Okay, hi. Go ahead, your question.
Aloha, and thank you all for the work you're doing. I do have a couple of questions because I'm listening to all the money that's going to be spent for these wonderful improvements, things that I know our community has talked about for such a long time. And if you don't mind, maybe I'm just not getting it, but could I get a better understanding or a little bit of review? Because I know that, John, you spoke about it, that these funds have now been appropriated and they're hopefully August can be distributed. So my question is, how is that covering for the flooding project? Is that money that will also be spent for the Kumu that just spoke? Because that is urban development. So I'm just curious. And can people who are in business in the community, can they also apply for those funds? And is there a cap put on what business people will be eligible for? That's some of the questions. I guess there's a lot.
Those are great questions. I'll answer a few of them. Most of them can actually be answered in our action plan for the CDBGDR program. That's available online right now. But to answer your question, there's several different programs that are being developed with those funds. There's $400 million of those funds that are meant towards infrastructure projects. So some of the projects that Jordan and Shane are talking about that are in the burn zone, those are going to be highly eligible projects to help with the funding. Of course, that we can't pay for everything. It's a funding of last resort. So we'll go to our other federal partners first, state and other county funds, and then we'll work on how to fund those projects. So that's a start of the answer to your questions. Go ahead.
So thanks for letting me interrupt. I'm just curious then, do they have to meet as well certain guidelines? Just like when a homeowner goes in, there are certain guidelines that will allow you access.
Yes, so the programs are all, for the individuals, they're all based on income, but the fund is meant for disaster recovery as a whole. So if it's a county project, then we'll have eligibility to help fund that county project, especially if it supports like a multifamily housing project, for example, or just any housing project. So the funds are for housing. 1.6 billion is for housing, but it's geared towards the infrastructure needs, the individual housing needs, the multifamily projects. So all of those are in that plan, and we'd love to bring the whole team back and explain that further. And I think we'll have to continue to explain that as the programs unveil themselves. We're only talking about in August, those homeowner rebuild plans, because we know there's so many people that still need a permanent place to rest at night.
Okay, so the infrastructure is included in the 1.6 billion?
Yes.
That's good for me to know. Thank you so much,
Yep.
John.
Thank you for that question. Again, raise your hand and our microphone folks will go there. I know I saw one. Did we do a good job tonight and you're all anxious to get to the help tables? Okay. There's a question in the back. Thank you, Morris. Go ahead, your question.
Hi, I was hoping there was going to be more people bringing up stuff before it came to me, but since we're now here, I was here at the last meeting and I was asking about the historical district. And my question is the historical code in the historical district still being enforced with the residential housing? And who has the final say on the permits for those homes being issued? And then the other question to that is, we just listened to Kaponai talk about the restoration of Moku'ula, and it's beautiful, and I love that we're bringing this back in the historical district. But then again, right down across the street from this beautiful restoration, there's a Malibu LA Barbie house currently permitted and going up. I have asked over a month ago, is there going to be any, and I know you guys had a meeting about it the next day, but I've never heard a word about it, and the house is continuing to be built. And there's a couple other houses down there that look just like it in the historical district. So could somebody please answer the questions about the historical code, and are you going to let these houses continue to go up? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to have our Deputy Director of Planning here, Anna, to help with that.
Thank you, Anna with Planning. So there was a few parts to your question that I can address. There are two different levels of quote-unquote historic district. There's the National Historic Landmark District, which is the greater, larger district that entails the design guidelines. There's also a historic district that's a zoning code, which is separate. So I'm going to address your question, which is in relation to the design. It is intact, and we are aware that it appears as though there are homes that were approved that were not in compliance with those guidelines. We are working to address that internally so that that does not happen in the future. Hard stop. We are also working with 4-Leaf to not only make sure that those reviews don't have further error, but have them review it and free up our staff to focus on other efforts. But for the homes that are, now that we understand that it looks as though an administrative error happened to allow for their approval, we've not determined whether or not we will be issuing stop work orders, but that is our next level of review now that we have confirmed what appears to be how this happened.
Thank you, Anna.
So
I saw a hand raised, Crystal, on this side. Ha'ole Lahanao, Jackie Keith, thank you for spending your day with us.
Mahalo, Mahina, I appreciate that. So mine is actually just a comment tonight, so hey, that's good. I was on a meeting earlier, and as most of the meetings that I'm on, mental health was being discussed, and I just wanted to let everyone know that there is a youth support group that there's a new, not new, but there's a nonprofit that is new to me, trying to establish for our youth. And so my understanding is that no one has signed up for the Lahaina one yet. which is why they don't have any dates, but I'm sorry I don't have the correct book to share better information, but I believe that at the Behavioral Health Center below the Civic, they do have information. So just if you have any keiki that are into that sort of thing and really want to be able to help support their community in ways like that, I believe the ages were 16 to 24, and they're going to like go through a training. And I think just, you know, to put it in perspective, like when kids are talking in the car, right, and like the parent asks a question and then like they stop talking, I think that's kind of the point of this. So this was the first I'd heard of it, and I'm pretty plugged in. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone else had the opportunity to hear about it.
Thank you. Mahalo for that, Jackie. We have a question in the middle, Morris. Thank you. Mike's coming. Hey, aloha.
This
Your
question is for Shane regarding R1 water. Will the Lahaina residential area get priority over the resorts when it comes to R1 water uses for fire safety? And in addition to that, for the water that the resorts are getting in R1 water, are we getting, because they have their own private potable water purveyor, will we be getting some sort of trade out so that our community doesn't have to have water restrictions for washing our cars and taking showers and all that, which was happening prior to the fire? So I guess those are my two-part question. One is the R1 water going to be prioritized for public use versus resorts? And for the resorts that are on private purveyor water, will we get some of their potable water in exchange for the R1 water for our public use?
Good question. So let me try to answer the first one, which is a priority. That's a complex question. We don't have a priority list for R1. Just an overarching responsibility of DEM is to get rid of R1. We have this new NPDES permit that was the result of the litigation for the injection wells. DOH is working on the permit right now. The most recent draft, just to simplify it, is we need to dispose of R1 before we can take any more sewage coming in. Now, how does that relate to priority? We need to strategically dispose of R1, but there's, as I mentioned earlier, there's no priority list, but we're going to take it from the aspect of what is the best benefit for the county as a whole to use R1. What that means, we're working through it right now. That's as much as I can tell you. We're looking for the best benefit. We're not prioritizing residents over resorts at this point, just what is the best overall benefit. Second question is, again, it's a tricky question. For the projects I mentioned, several of the projects I mentioned in my presentation, the ones in the Kanapali area, those were started many, many years ago when R1 was fairly difficult to get rid of. There wasn't too much demand for various reasons, but as we all know, R1 is very precious because it can offset potable. So for some of the projects, as I mentioned, we're already in construction. So there hasn't been any discussion of how we can offset and getting water back to the county system. But moving on, after we realize that R1 is precious, we can't right now get future sources or new sources of potable water. Moving forward, we are considering that, working with the private purveyors and see, again, what is the best case, what is the best scenario for the county in disposing R1 and hopefully getting water back into the county system.
Thank you. Morris, we're going to go there. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Hi, aloha. Your question.
Aloha. Yeah, I do. I would like to further the discussion about what we're calling Malibu houses being built in the historic district. I think there's an important question to ask to give any kind of understanding for an issue that while everyone continues this everlasting long journey of healing, something like that would have a long-lasting impact that the effects of that will ripple on forever. So the specific question is, I hear a mention of the possibility of reviewing or having a stop work. And if that is to be issued, could you give us any kind of realistic time frame? How quickly or how much of a sense of urgency could there be to make that happen sooner rather than later?
Mahalo for that. Deputy? Any comment to that request?
It can happen very quickly, yes. And just for everyone's notice, we are bringing back the National Historic Landmark District Design Guidelines to the Cultural Resources Commission. We anticipate it in August, and so if you would like to give your public comment on we are trying to streamline it, make it really clear and concise for everyone to follow. Everyone's on the same page about the expectations. And so if you'd like to make your public comment, we anticipate it for August. But yes, we can issue stop work orders quickly.
Thank you, Deputy Director Lillis. Any other questions? Morris, you have one in the front, and looks like we have a couple. Okay. Thank you, Crystal.
Just quickly, this is for Shane. You mentioned, Shane, let me see, the Front Street parking paving project. Is that correct?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I thought I heard you say that there was going to be a Front Street paving rehabilitation, part of the Lahaina
Oh, I think
project.
that was Jordan.
Oh, sorry. Wasn't sure who that was. And Jordan, can you elaborate what that is and when that might be anticipated? And is there anything that we could find online about that?
Yeah, so that project is more or less a maintenance project just to rehab the existing pavements on Front Street as part of our federal aid program. And so, I mean, yeah, it's generally not more involved in that. If there's some minor improvements with the sidewalks or intersections, we'll address those. But the primary scope of that project is to repair pavements on Front Street. Yeah, so she asked if the extents, for the most part, it's going to be most of Front Street. It may depend on what the costs come out to if we have to phase it. But yeah, Front Street's coming up for its maintenance cycle.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for the question. I know there was one in the back. Okay, go ahead, Morris. And then we do have a gentleman in the front row.
Hi, Mahina. Just want to piggyback on what Auntie Kelly is saying. So, National Historic District design. I can respect that mistakes were made through Four Leaf because they're a company from the continent, right? They're not ma'a to what the rules are here. But what I cannot forgive are the draftsmen and the architects who are actually designing these things. It is their job to know. And these architects and these draftsmen, they are a part of our community. They live and work and do business on Maui. And they are the ones making these designs that are going to change the character of the district. And I didn't think about it before when she brought it up, but to have that juxtaposed on this beautiful unearthing that we are about to have in the Royal Complex, we need to nip it in the bud sooner than later. There are certain companies that are the ones that are doing these designs. There are multiple designs in the area. Maybe having a talk story with them, letting them know that we see them and that this is not okay and they don't have an excuse because they're not from the continent. They're from here and they should know better.
Thank you, Mikey. I see acknowledgement from both Office of Recovery and Department of Planning, so I think well noted. We did a question, this gentleman right here in front row. Okay, hang on, Morris Crystal, we'll go right here. The gentleman right there, he had a question. Sir, your question? Aloha.
Yes, hi. Hi, this is just a quick question. I used to be a part of 505 Front Street, which currently is a huge underwater repository of a lot of dirty water. Whose responsibility is that?
I think, well, the question is 505 Front Street, who's addressing it in terms of rebuild?
Currently, it's the owner's responsibility.
Well, that explains why it's been there for a year, right?
Yeah.
It's
private property. You want to, yeah, let's let Kumu answer this one.
Thank you for the question. You're talking about the waters that are in that 505 basement. That Kupuna pond or spring-fed area is known as Nalehu. That is the original ponds that were there before 505 existed. The Nalehu ponds also extend out to Lahaina shores. Those ponds are under that particular building as well. The reason why I wanted to address this is because when you give the opportunity for kupuna to showcase themselves, or in this instance, if you give the opportunity for spring-fed ponds to showcase themselves, they will resurface naturally. And when these particular pump areas were damaged or now broken in the fire, these Nalehu ponds are given the opportunity to resurface and showcase themselves. Now, that tells me as a practitioner, as a Hawaiian practitioner, that these kupuna or punawai, or these springs, are in and around all of Lahaina. They're there for a reason. Yeah, you talk about muddy water and dirty water. Well, it was one of the biggest filtration sites before it went into the ocean. Yeah, so Nalehu, the loko of Mokuhinia, those were all waterways that were part of the filtration system that went and made sure that none of that dirty water went into our kai, into our ocean. So they're there for a purpose, and we're happy that they're resurfacing, and I'm sure we'll address them when we get an opportunity.
Aloha mai kako. I'm Kailani Ross from Lahaina, and I moved to share with you E ho'i kanani o Moku'ula. It's an oli that was written in 1864 by Moses Kekuewa, and it speaks of return the beauty to Moku'ula. And as I share this oli taught to me by a Koniakana, I'd like you to think about what is the beauty of Moku'ula and how far and wide and deep and high does it extend. E ho'i kanani o Moku'ula I kau kawale o aine e la ia. Kaula mai kaukala ka'alani mai o ke kaila ia. Huli aku ke alo ila I ke koa iho molo ka ia. Kamalu kapu'u o haupula ke la pu'oni oni oi ke la la ia. I ka lehua ka anu ke alohala I ke kai pale I ka luna vale o ke kaila ia. Kamaka ke ua kamakanila I ke kai vale o miki la ea. Haina ka ino o ka laila he inoa noa no manoa noa he inoa la ea. Ea he inoa no manoa noa e ho'i kanani o Moku'ula.
E ho'i kanani o Moku'ula. Mahalo, mahalo. I personally want to mahalo you for that. Some people know Koniakana and I was kokua to him for starting Friends of Moku'ula. So I mahalo Kumu and Yukailani for giving him aloha for that. And that mele. Mahalo. We'll move on to the, and by the way, you almost make me cry, so I love you for that. I know I saw, not that I dream about raised hands at night, but okay, there we go. Go ahead.
You know what? I changed my mind. I had something, but Mayor, welcome back. I hope the healing is going well. It's good to see you again. Instead of being negative, I'll pass and say, good job, everybody. I'm glad that you guys are here and sharing your manao. After that, only I cannot do negative, so I'll pass. Okay.
Oh yeah, mahalo. Okay, we don't get an oli every time. I won't go polish. Although my kumu's in the room, so I'm a little bit scared. Okay, okay, in the back of the room, go ahead. Whoever's going to get there, Crystal or
one more.
Morris? Okay. We're going to take a couple of questions and we're going to allow enough time to make use of the kokua tables. Go ahead with your question.
Aloha mai.
Aloha.
I do not have a question. I just have a resource. I think it's a really important resource. So if you are not on my kupuna list, I work for a program called Our Kupuna, and we provide supplemental groceries to kupuna in our community. So if you are affected by the wildfires, and a lot of kupuna like to say, no, I don't need help, it's okay. That's what the funding is there for. It is here for our kupuna who need the help, whether it is produce or laundry detergent, like small things. And then we also offer lift assistance. So if you need a ride to go to, and your ohana cannot take you, we offer lift assistance to take you to your doctor's appointments or to go to the Kuhinia event. We have kupuna that go to Mahjong or whatever it is. So it really is an important resource. And I know that there are kupuna out there who are not on our list. We have a little over 200 kupuna, but I know we have a lot more. So don't say no, I'm going to force you. I'm going to come chase you down. Yeah, mahalo.
Mahalo, Shannon, Ii. All right, we have, who has not asked a question yet that would like to before we close tonight? Okay, and then I see one final question at the
One more.
back. Who's that? Oh, aloha. Go ahead.
I just want to say, listening to the auntie that just did that oli, that's exactly why the stop work orders need to happen now. Those houses are not built yet. Please get on it. Thank you.
Point taken. Mahalo, it's 7 o'clock, so we're going to open up the kokua tables. Please spend time visiting with each other. Drive home safely. Take care. Aloha.